Hi, I'm Stephen M. Miller. I write books about the Bible and Christianity. Many Christians are confused about the Antichrist in end times. They think there is one, or there will be. No, no such thing. Antichrist is not even a word that shows up in the end time books of the Bible. It's not in Revelation, not in Daniel, not in Ezekiel. Jesus never mentioned it, and his story takes up nearly half the New Testament. Paul never mentioned it either, and he wrote most of the other half. Here's how church historians say we got the Antichrist that people talk about today and that we see in horror movies. Some preachers in the Middle Ages, more than 1,000 years ago, created a monster Antichrist like you'd create a Frankenstein. They pieced together several different descriptions of bad guys in the Bible. They called this composite character the Antichrist. Well, the composite character is nothing like the Bible's Antichrist. That word does briefly show up in 2 teeny tiny books. My dearest children, this is it, the last hour. You've heard the Antichrist is coming. Look around. They're already here, crawling all over the place. There's this Bible quote too. Liars have fanned out and covered the world. They're anti-Jesus Christ. They won't admit he came in the flesh as a human being. Anyone who tells lies like that is the Antichrist. So the Antichrist the Bible talks about is anyone who is the opposite of Jesus Christ, Antichrist. The Bible is clear about the kind of person Jesus was, so it's not hard to figure out if you might be an Antichrist. For example, Christ was honest. If the preacher's sermon title pops up on the screen as Father of Lies and everybody turns to look at you, you might be an Antichrist. Christ was not a fan of hypocrites either. He told them where to go. He really did. So think of hypocrisy this way. If you live on land that used to belong to Native Americans who never got paid for it, and you want to build a wall to keep out foreigners, you might be an Antichrist. And if you say we don't have room for foreigners, you might not be an Antichrist, but you haven't been to Montana, Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, and a Sunday morning church service in Kansas City when the Chiefs are playing a noon game. If an employee calls and tells you his wife has died in a plane crash, and the first thing that comes to your mind is how much your lawyer would pay you for the employee's phone number, you might be an Antichrist. If you get caught doing something wrong and instead of apologizing, you offer to buy green, you might be an Antichrist. If you've got a relative who is toxic, mean-spirited, and living too close for comfort, and they've made you so angry that you feel you might have committed the unpardonable sin, and you're thinking of starting a recovery group, if you believe Jesus wants you to live in this world like a king or a queen, rich and prosperous, when he slept in the dirt with his disciples and said he had no place of his own to lay his head, sorry, it's too late to donate a pillow. You might be an Antichrist. If you make a living by not paying what you owe, by doing what you said you didn't, and by not doing what you said you did, you might be so Antichrist that if you turn around, Jesus will be right there. If you come across a young woman with a child begging on a street corner, and you're so moved that you rush to the store and come back with a book titled 5 Steps to Becoming a Millionaire, and you take the cost of the book out of her donation box, you might be an Antichrist. If you would tell a pregnant high school girl you've never met, and her doctor who's about 12 years of college and residency beyond your community college degree in people skills, that she must have that baby, but the only thing you're willing to do to help her is to advise her to wear granny pants and sleep in flannel, you might be an Antichrist with no sense of style or people skills. If you go on a vacation to the South Pacific and are overwhelmed by trash floating in the ocean, and it suddenly occurs to you that if all the asylum seekers and immigrant wannabes would agree to become international boat people, they could clean up the ocean in a few generations. Win-win. You might be an Antichrist. If you constantly brag about yourself, call other people bad names, and cheat at everything from golf to tiddlywinks, you may be an Antichrist. If you fire a 64-year-old employee on December 31st so they don't get the employer matching 401k for the entire year, you're the devil. Listen, everyone is an Antichrist now and again. Some make a living at it. If we Christians cheer on and enable behavior that's Antichrist and refuse to take a stand against it, we're practicing some other religion. A philosopher might call it pseudo-Christianity because the people sincerely think they're Christian, but they're worshiping a revised Jesus, one who better fits their personal experiences, their opinions, and their values. A revised Jesus doesn't look anything like the original. But don't worry, we get a refresher course in Jesus. Gospel of Matthew 101, Mark 101, Luke 101, John, that's a graduate course. Read one of the other 3 Gospels first. Think of it as a prerequisite. If you like this video, would you give it a thumbs up? My mother counts those. Hey, thanks for watching. Peace to you.